Hi, I'm Daniel Garcia, and this is my paper prototype for SportPedia. SportPedia is an app that I essentially want to be the hub for all things sports. Anything you need, like stats, highlights, interviews, scores, anything you need from any sport like swimming, bowling, ping pong, football, basketball, any variety of sports, I want you to be able to get it through SportPedia. In this paper prototype, I will be working through 3 workflows, and anything that we haven't touched on within those workflows I will be showing after I work through all 3 workflows. So kicking it off with the first workflow, we have a scenario where a woman is a businesswoman, she's working late, there's an Atlanta Braves game going on. Atlanta Braves, for any of you that don't know, are a baseball team, and she wants to keep track of the Atlanta Braves game score. So she opens up her app, she's greeted with this homepage. The homepage for everyone will be different because when you open up the app for the first time, it'll ask you what you want to prioritize and what you want to be greeted with every time. So for all the scenarios today, I will be using this as my home screen. And the businesswoman opens up the app. She's greeted with highlight video, team news, and player news. She realized that she doesn't want to be looking at any of that right now because she wants to see the scores. So what she'd do is she would hit the 3-bar drop-down menu and be greeted with this page. It's just the drop-down here, and she would click on scores. She's already within the baseball section of the app, so then another page would come up and she would be able to see all of the league scores and be able to pinpoint exactly which score she's looking for. It'll also have the option for her to look at the scores of prioritized teams. So if she selected the Atlanta Braves and the Marlins as her favorite teams, it'll show her recent scores from both the Atlanta Braves and the Marlins, and she'll be able to see the scores that she wants to see more specifically much easier than having to go through the entirety of the league. For the second scenario, I have a man here that's obsessed with sports statistics. He wants to be able to predict the outcome of any game just by purely studying statistics and writing it down in his little notebook and hoping that he can understand sports to such a level he can predict everything. So he opens up SportPedia. He was looking at football earlier and realized that he wanted to catch up on all the basketball stats that had accrued over the previous day of games. So he's greeted with a football screen here, nothing that he's looking for, not even the same sport that he's looking for. So he would click on the logo icon up here, and then he would be greeted with this page where he would be able to select different sports. He sees that basketball really isn't there, so he clicks on other sports. It would continue on this square section where he'd be able to select more sports. He would scroll down, click basketball, and then be greeted with the same home page again. He would then realize, again, nothing that I want. I'm on the right sport this time though. So he'd hit the 3-bar drop-down menu and then be greeted with a similar page that we saw earlier and click on stats right here. And then he'd be able to look through all the stats from the previous day. It would be, the stats page would open up showing, the most recent stats that have occurred. Like if he's looking through the NBA stats, it would show all the stats from that day. He would be able to boil it down between players, teams, or even conferences, for example, like the Eastern and Western conferences. And if he wants to look for other stats from other years or previous seasons, he would be able to also filter through that, making it much easier for him to look through stats, even random ones that happened such a long time ago, which is something that lacks heavily in many of the sports apps that we have today. Moving on to the last scenario, we have just a normal dude that wants to keep track of news. He hears that one of his favorite players is retiring. He's a big football fan, so he opens up his homepage. He's greeted with this. He sees player news. He doesn't really see the exact article that he wants to read about his favorite player retiring, so he clicks read more. He would then open up to this page. He doesn't see it. He scrolls up. He sees it, clicks on the article he needs. Bam, that's like less than 10 seconds and he's already where he needs to be, which is why I wanted to make it more of a personalized homepage setup. That doesn't necessarily work for the other 2 workflows that we had earlier, but works very well for this one. Okay, so moving on to everything else that you haven't seen within the app. I already showed you player news. like I said, you click on read more and it would show you even more player articles. The same would go for if you click on team news. You would see more team articles and be able to scroll through that and look for what you need. I showed you already the 3-bar drop-down menu. It sends you there. You can look through highlights, stats, articles and interviews, scores, and search for anything in between. If you wanted to click on that gear icon up there, you'd be greeted with accessibility, preferences, legal usage. Accessibility is more for things like if you're colorblind or if you need text-to-speech. Preferences is more of, I want to be greeted with this team or this sport on my homepage, or this type of section like team news or player news like I showed earlier. And legal and usage would be everything else that you need to know about the company and the app, and whether like what you can reproduce from it. Going back to the homepage, if you wanted to open up a video, this would be more so the layout. So if I wanted to open up this highlight video that I'm greeted with at the beginning, simply click on that. I would open up to this page. I'd be able to play, scroll through the video at any point, and hit that close button, which is kind of hard to see from here. Click on that, and it would instantly send me back to the homepage. The last thing, which I have already showed, is if you click on the logo button up here, it would send you to this page. This would be just a nice little larger logo of the app, and you'd be able to click on any of the most recent sports that you had open, or if you wanted to search for other more, I guess, random sports, you would hit other sports, scroll down to the one you're looking for, and you would go back to your specific homepage. That'll about do it for the SportPedia paper prototype. I would like to thank you very much for joining me, and have a great day.